Hello and welcome to another modern stream. Today we're gonna be knowing thy enemy. We're gonna get to know thy enemy, and we're getting to know one heck of an enemy, Cat Jesus. Hell yeah! I'm gonna be channeling my inner spider space today, and we're gonna be giving a shot to what actually turned out to be one of the top contenders in the current modern format, which is Death and Taxes. Mishra's Masterpiece with a tier 1 sub. Welcome back to the Primetime Channel for 7 months now. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. Arbiter isn't even an advisor. Yeah, I know. It's just a cat cleric. It's a good old cat Jesus. Probably one of the, if not the poorliest templated card, or most poorly templated card, I guess, would be the correct way of saying that. You get so many random free wins for your opponent just not knowing how this card works, and it can be pretty hilarious. Anyway, so Stoneforge Mystic, and particularly all of the Skyclaves and Skyclave Apparition have really turned this deck up to 1,000. They really made this deck a lot better than it was before Zendikar Rising, really. This deck attacks in a way that a lot of decks are not particularly well prepared for. And if you stumble in even a tiny bit, then this deck can really punish you with cards like Thalia or Leonin Arbiter. Giver of Runes, of course, is one of the silent killers in this deck. The fact that it always forces you to have two forms of removal is backbreaking, particularly against decks like Amulet or strategies of that kind. Giver really works over time. And well, White is playable again, folks. White is playable again. We get a little bit of help from the cycling land, so in the late game we don't just flood and die, even though we might just flood and die just the same. And then Ghost Quarter, Field of Ruin, of course, comboing with Arbiter. A Ganju Castle is a weird one. Like, it literally just protects Thalia. Like, there's literally nothing else that it protects. And I am not 100% correct that it's just better to play a planes, to play around stuff like your opponent's Field of Ruin. Sometimes it can be awkward for your opponents when they are trying to fix their mana using Field, but you just have basics. Also, of course, Blood Moon, right? So I never really understand the point of a Ganjo Castle in this kind of decks. Like, it is kind of free, but at the same time isn't. So we're gonna see how that works out. How do you make a better version of Arbiter? Well, it's poorly templated because it's not a triggered ability, right? If it were a triggered ability, it would be fine. Whenever your opponents search their library, they have to pay 2, otherwise they can't search, right? If it were like that, if it were a triggered ability instead of a static ability, we wouldn't really have a problem because, you know, you fetch and then the trigger would go on the stack. So you can actually go back. In the matchups where Thalia is important, a Ganjo is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that it's cool, but it's just like, it's super narrow. The sideboard, of course, has a bunch of white cards. We have Forge Tender for removal decks, Anger of the God Bolt decks, Rest in Peace against the graveyard decks, Winds of Abandon against Mirror Match and other creature decks, Oriok Champion against black and red decks, Mind Sensor against your Trons, your Amulets, etc. Mirror Crusader against your green decks, and Revoker against stuff that has activated abilities. Revoker's cool. This is a cool card. People were arguing about restricting Revoker in Vintage at one point, which was hilarious. One thing that we have to remember is that this actually cannot name lands, but it can actually stop mana producing lands. So it's a mana producing ability, sorry. So it is differently templated as something like Python Needle. Sure. I feel like I played against my opponent many times, but I don't know what they are on. I feel like they are one of those players that just like jump around a bunch. No second land is pretty bad. I still think that you probably just keep this hand 100% of the time, right? So Udo pile of some kind. I'm not excited to see these as our first matchup, but turn 2 Ren is going to be really tough to beat. I guess that we have Apparition to get rid of it, but still kind of awkward. Going up 2. Sure. How many turn Timber is too many turn Timber? Well, in Reclaimer, 2 would be too many, I think. And in Amulet, 3 is fine, 4 is also fine. Depends on how you build your deck. Like, if I were splashing for a color, I probably would not be playing turn Timber. So they play Udo, so I think what I'm gonna do is with disabilities on the stack, I'm gonna violin in the Arbiter. This makes it so if my opponent plays a fetch here, they can't search this turn. Now the question is, do I want to path this? I think not. Would have been a good time to path for sure, because they cannot get a land, so. But I think I might want to save. I think I might want to save the path for an Omnath. They return nothing. I think I'm going to use this Apparition to kill this Ren. Look, a land. Because this Ren is going to turn into a problem eventually. But that was gonna take a long time to kill the Ren with just combat damage, right? So we probably would not have been able to make it. But if they play Omnath with the trigger on the stack, I can just path it now. And they get no value. They can have Fire Spout though, which honestly would be pretty annoying. We got Flicker Whiffs to blink Apparition, which is nice. The Fairy. Sure. Annoying. Desti Jill Duck. Think about the follow. Bouncing the Vial, which makes a lot of sense. What am I playing against? I'm playing against Money Tribal, which is a deck that, as the name would suggest, is very expensive on MTGO. and it's very powerful. We actually streamed with this deck last Friday. So if you want to see the deck from this angle, you can check out my VODs on YouTube. There we go. No, but there's still an epic card. Yeah, but like I'm just trying to say that we can probably continue to hopefully tempo them a little bit. I'm kind of not even sure what we're trying to draw towards here. Like, what are our good draws? More arbiters? More givers? Explosives for 1? Well, that's fucked up. That is so fucked up. I think we just lose now, right? We can't beat that. Yeah, I don't think we can win anymore now. If they get rid of our Vial and our Giver, I think that we are just dead. And there's nothing we can really do about it. I can play my Thalia here, but... Remand maybe? Cryptic. I could have not attacked with Giver there. Maybe that was better. I mean, we're still in the same spot, right? We're just super far behind on board. I kind of want to just concede. Like, not drawing lands has really, really hindered on mana development, and we also have like these stupid Path to Exiles that are doing nothing. Again, I could have pathed that Uro a couple of turns ago. I'm not even sure that would have been correct. I'm just gonna back it in. I kind of don't want to play this game anymore. Alright, so they're gonna... If they play a fetch, I think we concede. Because that means they get to Udo and they get to crack explosives, and at that point they're just too far ahead, so... I think that we can just concede here. Alright, so... I feel like I do like some number of resting pieces. I feel like some of these can go. Mirror Crusader is interesting. Whoops. Mirror Crusader is kind of interesting. Mind Sensor could be interesting if Renan 6 were not a card that my opponent is playing, but it is. I forgot the Reclaimer. It's in my YouTube channel. I feel like I do like Operation. I'm just gonna cut all the paths actually, and I want a couple of resting pieces. This does slow down a bunch of their engines, and then maybe Forge Tenders. We could have Revoker to name explosives. Maybe just Crusader is better. I kind of like Crusader. It dies to Bolt, but if I can protect it with a Giver or something, this just attacks through Udo and it attacks through everything, basically. We're playing against Money Pile. Let's go with this, and it's possible that my Cyberlane is going to be very bad, but... Another hand that loses to engineered explosives. Another hand that loses to explosives, but don't side out paths. I'm not gonna be attacking with this giver, right? So I'm leading on the vial because if this doesn't get counter, I'm not gonna cast this giver. Yeah, Maul is pretty sweet. Okay, so that resolves, so I'm just gonna pass. I guess if I play the giver there, then next turn, yeah, I guess I should have actually played the giver. Yeah, because of this. Like, now I want to Skyclave this, and that's how I'm gonna spend my turn, and I don't have protection for the Skyclave. Not sure how much of a big deal that is, but... Get out of here, Ren. I feel like I want to maul this thing instead of mauling this. The only problem is if I want to give this, I guess it should need to be pro-white, which I guess I can't protect it from Path to Exile. Or I can, but the maul is gonna fall off, which is the problem. Second Ren? Fuck. The good thing is I don't need to maul this one. I can just do this. I don't have to Skyclave this one. I can just play them all. Yeah, let's just do this. So we play them all, we equip here, we kill the Ren. If they have exactly Path to Exile, this kind of sucks. They don't. Sweet. Yeah, these decks are playing Maul instead of... what's the name of the other thing? They're playing Maul instead of Feast and Famine. Sword of Feast and Famine. Oh, I guess they were playing around Arbiter there. So here we can just end step this Mirror Crusader. Yeah, this is a good sign for us. We end step them. If my opponent taps out, they just die, right? We just 8 them. 10, I guess. They're not gonna know what hit him. This smells like Udo. That's fine. We can just Aberration that one whenever it comes back. No! I clicked on the wrong card. I am an idiot. God damn it. Okay, so now we're actually in trouble and we can lose this game. God damn it. Ah. Shit, I misclicked. I obviously wanted to play this one. It's so annoying. That's so annoying. This guy has protection from zombie tokens, which is nice. So if they play Uro, we still have lethal. We have lethal in the air between this and with the Crusader. My opponent can path here, and then what would happen? They take 4, 5, 6. Whenever I tune in, I punt. Oh man. I mean, it wasn't really a punt. It's just a misclick because I'm stupid. A punt is more when you make a bad play. This is just an idiot misclick. Sure. This is basic lands, right? Yeah. So they can't cast anything else here, but what they can do is they can gain a shit ton of life. Only 4. Only 4 life. Can you believe that? Hey, Team Plasma guys. How's it going? If we attack like this, my opponent paths here. I protect it. Give it pro white, they just... Oh, they can't block. Okay, so they're gonna take 8 down to 1. I guess. Alternatively, what I can do... No, this just seems better. Because what I could do is attack with this and give this pro white, but... This already just forces my opponent to have something. Alright. That's lethal. That's lethal. Alright, so we were not punished by my stupid, idiotic mistake. Okay, so do we want to change anything for game number 3? Some folks were saying that we don't want to cut all the path to exiles. What would you bring? What would you cut instead of the path? Because all of these cards look good to me. The only ones that I could see cutting would be Rest in Peace. So it would have path instead of Rest in Peace. I kind of like Rest in Peace better though. Because the Rest in Peace itself just limits the need for... We don't need to deal with Ren and we don't need to deal with Uro if we have Rest in Peace. How do we feel about it, chat? Yeah, their deck also plays Sanctuary. It is hella gritty. It really is. It is very, very gritty. I don't think I want the third copy of Rest in Peace. Like, this is not Dredge. My opponent can very easily kill me through a Rest in Peace, but it really hinders their game plan a lot. So I probably want the first copy. I definitely want to see the first copy, but I never want to see the second one. So playing 3 copies seems like overdoing it. But I do like this card a lot. And I think it's better than Path. Forge Tender is also an interesting one because my opponent, one of their forms of removal is Fire Spat, but as we saw, we single-handedly lost to Unengineered Explosives in game 1, so Forge Tender kind of plays into their explosives. Turning off Mystic Sanctuary and Uro, and also Ren. I think I like this configuration better, but somebody in chat said that they wanted more paths. And again, I have no experience with this deck, right? I'm just kind of like figuring it out as I go, so I'm definitely down to taking chat's advice. If we find 1 land, this hand is fine. But if we whiff, we just lose. We're looking towards 22 lands of the top 53 cards. That is not even close to enough. We're just gonna mulligan. This is better. Gonna keep and bottom one of these. Because I imagine that Thalia is gonna be doing some dying. Just watching a Blue Ring Titan video of yours before I noticed you were live. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that YouTube. There's a lot of stuff. Just please don't rent me. Like, 1 time, don't have turn to rent. Sweet. Okay, so I'm not. Also, we're flooding, so we're. I don't like this. Bottom the land, drew back-to-back lands. As predicted, Thalia bites the dust. Of course. Definitely interesting in getting Thalia into play before Archon. Mana Leak. Wow. Why do they have Mana Leak in their deck? To counter my Thalia, obviously. Put me in, coach. I tried. Didn't work out. Okay, so we just lose now? If we can draw exactly Arbiter, maybe we have a shot. We have to draw exactly Arbiter right now. And then we can Arbiter and go square to their Triumph. Hopefully keep them off mana. Archon or Stoneforge? I kind of want Archon. Let's Archon. Because it also allows me to, if my Archon gets answered, we can just Maul plus Stoneforge next turn. But if I play Stoneforge, then we cannot spell double spell next turn if my Archon gets answered. Stoneforge for GT, play GT. Yeah, that was the line. That was the line. Okay, so they bounce the Archon, understandably. So now we're going to get to Stoneforge plus Archon next turn, which is not bad. Just don't Omnath me, bro. That sounds like Omnath mana. Yep, that's some enough mana. Oh, that's probably even worse. Was GTA ever legally modern? I think that it wasn't. It was just pre-banned. Yeah, I would love to rest in peace, but I don't think that we can. Let's get Batterskull. We're locking bodies here, so... We're locking bodies, so I guess I'd rather have an extra body instead of something else. I like Stoneforge and Jason my sculptor. Okay. Sorry. Banned before they even got a shot. Yeah. But I think that GTA is rightfully banned. The meta is just Stoneforge and Jace decks. Or Stoneforge decks with Jace. Huh? Imagine if they had banned Squadron Hawk. Because it was too many. Too oppressive. That's a Nudo. We can rip that. But we kind of have to blow that up. We're not in good shape here, chat. We are not in good shape. I wonder if... Ooh, they don't field me? They probably should field me before I untap with this, right? So I can't blow up their field. They don't. Okay, so let's play this. I think I'm gonna lead on Ghost Quarter. We could hardcast them all. And attempt to equip here so we can threaten the Jace. Force of Negation. Now we play the rip. This was actually the price. Don't have it, opponent. Come on. Let me deal with all your nonsense. Sweet. Okay. So now... I think we attack the Fairy. Even if they have Shark Typhoon, which I don't think they play. That is still fine, I think. Still have Batterskull. I'm probably going to take my Sunbaked Canyon here. Which is fine. Mac Lethal, thank you for the follow. GT was originally banned in 2012, 2020, however, I think that it would be too strong in 2020. I think that people that say that GT would be okay in Modern have not played enough with GT. They have not seen the card in action, like in Legacy and stuff. Or like back in the day in Extended and whatnot. That is just my thought, but out of all the cards in the Modern ban list, GT is not one that I would consider for a second. Particularly not with Stoneforge Mystic being legal now, right? Obviously. Womp womp. So we're just gonna hardcast the Battle Skull and be very sad when my opponent just minuses their Jace to kill our token. Maybe they even just Teferi minus on the Battle Skull itself when I can't bounce it. But it's not like I have other options anyway, right? It's a card. We can play that through Mana Leak. Get rid of Hase. It just makes creature another thing. Yeah, like if GT is legal, this deck becomes unplayable. Every creature combo deck you have ever seen becomes unplayable. It just completely neutralizes many decks. Like they are just not playable anymore. So I don't think that you can do that to Modern. Even like Burn, not a deck anymore. Like GT just by itself keeps you out of Burn range. Like your opponent is just forced to use all of their removal spells on your creatures, because if you ever connect with GT even a single time, they can't win anymore. So like Burn becomes unplayable. Prowess decks would also be pretty bad. Although Prowess decks can actually use the removal to kill your creatures. So maybe Prowess decks don't get that affected. But yeah, it's very, very easy to misevaluate just how busted GT really is if you have never seen it in action. But however good you think GT is, it's a lot better than that. Sure. This seems like a keep. It might be wrong, but I think it looks like a keep. Okay, so we're gonna lose because we were on the draw, I guess. Maybe we have a shot. Turn 3 Tron, baby. I think I'm gonna play Thalia here. And next turn I'm gonna Arbiter Ghost Quarter. But if I Thalia, this means that at least I cannot get Karn the next turn. Blast Zone is what they got, so they just had the Natty Tron already. Okay. They didn't search for any of them, so we're just guessing. So let's guess that one. There are a lot of decks that don't care about GT. That's a terrible argument. That's a very bad argument. Like, there's a lot of decks that don't care about Oko, right? Does that mean that Oko is okay? No. So if they have the Natty, so I think I'm going to deploy this, and if they have the Natty Tower, we might get got, but yeah, the second Ghost Quarter was great. But like here, wow, really? F me, I guess. We're doing this. Which deck was favored against Oko? Stuff that I didn't care about Oko, like Storm, Ad Nauseam, etc. Tron didn't care about Oko. Do I path here? Or do I Vial? I kind of want to get Vial going because Vial allows me to Stoneforge. So we're gonna take this turn off. My opponent's losing the race anyway, right? Don't really want to path while they have mana up. It's too bad that we're not gonna get to Wisp that Blast Zone before they're able to crack. Second clause in Archon is secret. To have a look. Yeah, like this is the good clause, the biggest clause against the control decks kind of land. What does land do here? We still can't maul. We could path now. Seems good. That seemed like the time to path right there. Why didn't I Wisp Blast Zone? It's an expensive Sylvan Scrying. We can do that now. I can't Stoneforge search now. I don't think there's anything I was searching for anyway. What I can do though is now I can actually play them all. So even though we don't get to search, I think this is still okay because it allows me to speed up my clock. And oh my god, that draw was sick. Okay, so that just simplifies things a lot. So now we just do this. And we, on my end step, we get their Blast Zone. So because of how Flicker Wisp is worded, it takes the card until the next end step. So if you do it on your own end step, it does it until my opponent's end step. So now they don't get to untap before I exile their card for the entire turn. That was a very good top deck. Okay, so 3, 4, 5. Can play Giganta here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can bring my opponent down to 2. All 4 Urza's Towers. That's really funny. 3, 4, 5. Is there any way I can do anything here? Operation doesn't exile tokens. We can't just hardcast them all, unfortunately. We have our own Thalia that's stopping us from doing that. So I mean that's why I flashed in the Stoneforge when I had, right? Yeah, we're 2 damage short. So I'm trying to think what happens. O-Stone we can't beat, right? So O-Stone we should not play around because we can't beat it. We can't beat Ugin if we get my opponent down to 2. We can beat Ugin if we get my opponent down to 2. We can also beat Ulamog if we get my opponent down to 2. So I guess that's the line. Getting my opponent to 2 is my best avenue to victory. So Maul on the... Which one's more annoying for them right now? Probably Thalia is more annoying for them. Let's do the Arbiter. Attack, attack, attack. They also don't have enough mana for Ugin. Oh, that's right, because this center's tapped. Holy shit. This card is so good. This card is insane. It's 8 mana. All this dust. This is fine. They just lose. So they had the literally perfect card and we still got there. Yay. Got him. Got him. All right, Revoker. Mind Sensor. That's it. Is Thalia good on the draw? Cards nowadays are a lot of times you should make an effort to read them. Why? I just have chat that reads the cards for me. Why would I waste my own time reading them, right? Don't love Sword of Fire and Ice. Maybe Path is better than that. Is Apparition any good? I mean, it is a 2/2, and it can hold equipment, as we saw last game. So it's probably the other better than the other options. So this is a turn 2 Arbiter. Sure. Thalia seems good enough still. They keep... Yeah, honestly, Thalia might have been the reason why I won the previous game. Because I played Thalia and I prevented them from doing anything of relevance. Opponent moves to 4. Honestly, Giganta seems not worth it. Like, when my opponent reveals Giganta, I know that they don't have Walking Ballista, so I know that I don't have to play around that. So when you're playing a deck like this one, seems like kind of a really big deal. Who was saying that Apparition was gonna be terrible? Why would you jinx me like that? This vial just came in a little bit too late. Can still get it from the sideboard with Karn. That's true. the MVP. Awkward. Just probably gonna cycle Claire in this turn. Oh, that's right. Only one spell a turn. Whoopsies. Weird how only half of this card is one-sided, and the other half affects everybody. Yes, I'm drawing all of my bad cards. I think I'm just jamming with everything. Sure. Again, we cycle Canopy here. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, now holding Giver sounds like a much bigger deal, so let's do that this time around. And let's play Stoneforge for Maul. I think I like Maul here. They found the tower in the top 4. Feels bad, man. Feels Tron, man. Feels Tron, man. Chromatic Sphere. Archon is so good against their Chromatic Sphere draws. 1, 2, 3, 4. We go for lethal, right? We just have to go for lethal. This can backfire if they have removal for this, but going for lethal seems good. Okay, they don't have removal for it. Did I win against Money Tribal? No. Okay. So they go up to 7. Awkward. Two-turn clock. Just gonna play one of these Thalias. If they have another Tuscarino, they go up to 8. We still don't have lethal. That would be very awkward. What's Money Tribal? Money Tribal is the 4-color Omnath Auto pile deck. Okay. Yep. Archon was kind of incredible this match, honestly. Archon was kind of incredible this entire match. GG's opponent. Okay, so the Tron matchup felt okay. Even though I probably sideboarded quite poorly, like those apparitions really looked bad. Maybe I should have cut apparitions for Mirror Crusaders actually. Mirror Crusader would have been significantly better than that entire match. So for future reference, we probably want to look into something like that. Apparition Path the token? Yeah, that doesn't quite work. So turn 2 Stoneforge. Sure. Let's hope it's a matchup where against which turn 2 Stoneforge is good. And it isn't. Tron again? God damn it. Oh, awesome. We're totally gonna top deck Maul. Mark my words, chat. We're totally drawing Maul of the Skyclaves off the top right now. Making sure our Stoneforge is as bad as it can be. Sure. This at least gives us a shot. If they have turn 3 card, I'm gonna concede though. It's not worth playing that game. Yep. Alright, so Tron again. Revokers, Mind Sensor, Mirror Crusader. Cut a couple of these, cut a couple of these. I just got 3 and 3. Sword of Fire and Ice is also kind of bad, but maybe I'd rather have a body. Okay. At least we can clock them pretty quickly. Move to 5. Daniel Giampietro, thank you for that follow. Stoneforge Battleskull out. What do you suggest I play instead? Look at my 15 options. Apparition is good. I am sorry, but I just don't believe you. I played it too. I just played a game, an entire match against Tron, where Apparition was terrible every time I saw it. Unplayably terrible. Maybe I am missing something, but I don't think so. More Skyclave Path. So you'd rather have answers for your opponent's bad threats, for your opponent's big threats, than being able to kill your opponent? You can Apparition also. Okay, that one's a big deal. Okay. I don't think I would cut Batterskull though. I think before cutting Batterskull, I think we're just forced to jam here, right? We just need to put pressure. We could spend this turn go squattering them, but they just get whatever we go squatter, so it doesn't help too much. I am usually on this, I'm usually a believer in just like make them have it for the turn, I guess. Flicker goes squatter. I think that this Flicker Wisp is going to be really good next turn. I feel like I can get more value from this Flicker Wisp. That's why I didn't go for that. Personally cut 4 Stoneforge and Battle School on 1 path. If I do that, Daniel, I feel like I just cannot kill my opponent. Like, I'm so slow at killing them. Like, I do understand your point, but it's just like Path to Exile. Look at this path, it's just rotting in my hand. Talisman of Resilience is what my opponent found. Holy crap, that's a card, I guess. Arbiter? Batter Skull. Of course, of course, of course. So I'm gonna play Crusader here. And feel like I wanna steal their tower for the turn. I guess that we can protect the Wisp. So let's protect the Wisp. Let's protect the Crusader, I mean. So let's just draw step, blow this up. What a joke Tron is. What a joke Tron is. Let's draw Maul, please. Maul off the top. Oh, we sealed Maul. Maul of the Skyclave. Well, we just have to play their game. It's not like we have a shot. Maybe they plus on the Crusader. Sure. Sure. All right. I know when I'm beaten. My opponent was a good Tron player. They had the most important skill that a Tron player can have, which is getting lucky. So they obviously got us. No, I mean, just obviously I'm memeing here and I'm being, but yeah, my opponent played well, right? Like they mulliganed properly. Like I have beaten so many Tron players that just they keep 7 and they just, you know, go turn 1 basic forest and it's just like, what are you doing? So my opponent was mulliganing properly, and of course they got lucky because like Tron is just a terrible deck if you're not lucky. So definitely there's a lot of luck involved when you're playing a deck like Tron, but my opponent also played very well. Obviously I am joking. This seems like a keep to me. Turn 1 Giver, then turn 2 either Stoneforge or Arbiter, depending what we're paired up against. When this deck does not have turn 1 Vial, it feels like a completely different deck. What's up, Adam? How you doing? Gonna get pushed. It's fine. So it seems like we're playing against some kind of black-green X deck. So I'm obviously interested in getting this Stoneforge down. Let's get the skull. Pass the turn. Inquisition. Lol. Okay, so they have to be playing straight up black-green then. Happy Friday indeed. It's a fine Friday today. Fine Friday. Top tier Friday. Do you want to attack? Because I want to trade. I guess I don't want to trade because I have Maul. So I want to force them to... Like, if they Inquisition... If they push my Stoneforge, that means that they can't Inquisition my other Stoneforge. So this is fine. Okay. So we're just going to pass. Put in the skull. Without that Arbiter, not the best draw. Oh, come on. 3 pushes in the top 13 cards when my hand is like particularly vulnerable to push. Feels bad, man. Okay, so they still have their Fatal Push here. Would love to draw land so I can double spell. Okay. Stoneforge. Arbiter. Painful Arbiter, but an Arbiter nonetheless. Losing to Green Black Rock, not even John. Yeah, I know. Oh, come on. Wow. I don't think anything that I would have done ever would have mattered here. Like, my opponent's draw was just absolutely perfect. Like, they just had literally everything covered. Like, it just didn't matter whatever I did. They Inquisition instead of pushing? Boomer Rock versus Sexy Fresh Taxes. Yeah, I know. In what ways is Green Black better than Jund? It has a much more consistent mana base. Like the main issue with Jund is precisely how bad its mana is. So this deck actually has some pretty good mana. And that's about it, I guess. It's a different kind of Grandy. Like, you get to play stuff like Ghost Squatter, you get to play stuff like Lurus, which you otherwise would not get to play. See, my opponent did not read Archon of Emeria. They could have gotten the Blooming Marsh out of the hand, but... the Archon got him. They're trying to enable push. To kill my Archon. Or that, sure. Unfortunately, we are gonna have to spend this turn right here. Now the question is, I think I wanted Thalia here. We can't double spell because of Archon, obviously. If they attack now, of course I'm going to trade this time, but... actually, am I? Am I trading here? I guess I'm not trading, they're just chump attacking. Sure, I think that's fine, yeah. So now their push is enabled, so they can kill the Archon, but that costs them 2 mana, right? So they're gonna lure us here. Painful lures. Fortunately for me, they don't have... I guess I don't care about playing this. The question is, can I attack? I'd rather hold this to play around Liliana Plus. If I attack... No, if my opponent has a push, then we're actually in trouble, so... I think I actually do want to play this, though. Because it allows me to cycle this. What you got there, Davius? It's a lot of one-offs. I like that. I like lots of one-offs. Enigmatic incarnation. Wow. Did they just play this? I think they just played that one, right? Yeah. I would play it in exchange of money, but I would not play it otherwise. How do we win this game? They still have more creatures to eat. I don't think we can win this game, actually. This Scavengeunus is too big, and it's just lethal. I think this Sunbake Canyon kind of did us. We just cannot beat the Scavengeunus. Like, we will need to draw Flicker Wisp, I guess. We're gonna have to chump. Probably with the Thalia. Because if we draw a second Thalia, we actually lose. This is another reason to play this deck, right? Like the consistency of the mana obviously makes a card like Scavenge Genius significantly better. Like Scavenge Genius in Jund is actually not that great, because you don't play that much green mana, so it's really tough to get more than like 1 or maybe 2 activations per turn. Kind of by design. So they can get back Bob. They play the Bob from hand instead of playing the one from the graveyard. I am confused. Of course. Okay. Any form of removal just kills us, so just gonna pack it in. Alright, black green. Rest in Peace seems reasonable. Winds of Abandon and Oriok Champion both seem reasonable. Mirror Crusader sounds pretty good too. Okay, those would be like my starting points. Archon seems a little bit bad. Thalia seems okay on the play, but not so good on the draw. Source sucks. Wisp is okay. We need to make 5 cuts. Arbiters? They have 4 fetch lands. So Arbiter is just a 2 mana 2/2, realistically. Take out 1 Stoneforge. Maybe I'm just bringing in too much removal, and I should not. Quex, thank you for the follow. I'm not so excited about the Thalia. We are on the play though. Yeah, okay, let's just do this. Revoker is also kind of interesting, but it can realistically just name Liliana. There's nothing else that I'm particularly excited about naming. This is an awesome turn 1 Vile hand. If we find the land off the top and we get to go turn 2 Stoneforge plus Giver, would be sick. Point is smart. Play around Arbiter, even though I sided them out. They're definitely taking the Oriok Champion here. Easy Oriok Champion. Bubbles. Little bit of missequencing there. They should have bubbled, like if they knew that they were doing that, they should have bubbled before Inquisition in. That way they would have perfect info when they took the champion. So like now maybe taking the giver would have been better if they knew that I was drawing another giver, because if I ever get to double giver, they're going to really struggle to beat that unless they have something like engineered explosives, which they could. Yeah, their name is Salami Bomb. Interesting modo name. You gotta go if. They're really gonna need to. They know about the top card of my deck, but that's fine. Sure, actually this is not bad. It sucks that we actually cut one of the equipments when we have a triple. Oh, that's right, we sided one Stoneforge, so this is literally all of our equipment. We're gonna get Skull here. We're gonna get Maul with the other Stoneforge. Get Maul first to get stuff. Well, I'm playing around Inquisition. Sure. I mean, second Plague Engineer would be rough. Second Plague Engineer would surely be something. Definitely upticking to 3 here. If they don't have second engineer, I think I'm gonna be okay, but if they do, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. We're about to have Flying Germ. Yes, we are. Yes, we are, but then we're dead to like a single Liliana effect, we're dead to a single Fatal Push. So it's not the most stable Germ. Right now, obviously, the good thing is that the Givers would be protecting my Germ, but if they have second Plague Engineer... Okay, Bob is fine. Hex Drinker, also fine. Level Up, also fine. So this is going to be just a 2-turn clock. Always snow, always yield. Boom, let's go. Drawing another vial is terrible, but it is what it is. No second engineer, no second engineer, no second engineer. At this point, it's probably the only card that matters, right? The second engineer. Unless they have some form of Wrath effect, like Dead of Winter. But Dead of Winter would also clear their board, so I'm not too upset about Dead of Winter. Second Engineer would be a one-sided Wrath, however. Which we probably... I guess they would still need to have a push or something. Stud and Vial without the good cards. Exactly. Titleless Vial. Lifelink, Flying, Lifelink, Vigilance. Oh, First Strike, sorry, not Lifelink. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I guess we have a 2-turn clock now. I guess it's not a 2-turn clock, it's a 3-turn clock. Just go nuts on that Hexdrinker Core opponent. No lifelink anymore. Feels bad, man. Let's draw first, Wisp. That's pretty good. Go, little germ. That Wisp is kind of the nuts, right? We don't play Stoneforge. It doesn't do anything. Baby prog, yeah. Baby progenitors that gets blanked by a Flicker Wisp. A classic. Oh my god, my opponent has taken 0 damage from this Bob over 3 turns, maybe, at this point. Cycle's good. Sure. They're going for it. They're going for it. And punished. Boop. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, so now we just have lethal. Lethal in the air. Lethal in the air. Okay, any changes we want to make? Honestly, knowing what my opponent's plan is, and they're basically mono creatures, so it makes me a little bit more excited about my mono removal plan. I kind of want to cut down on X1s after seeing Plague Engineer. So 2 Thalias. It sucks that they actually have a very clean answer for Orgok Champion. Sorry about the food eating, but my wife and I started this diet of sorts, and apparently we have to eat like every 2 or 3 hours or something. Wait a second. It's been an hour and a half and we're only 3 matches in. Brutal. Doing so is great for your metabolism. Yeah, that's kind of like the idea. You're supposed to eat like a couple of snacks throughout the day. what's good for the metabolism? To eat every 3 hours or so. You know, usually when I stream, I don't have lunch until like 3 p.m. or something, and that's actually bad. It's tough to do the streaming thing and have a healthy lifestyle. I don't know why. It just doesn't really allow you to, which is rough, honestly. Yeah, this sound looks great. We're gonna turn 1 Vial, turn 2 Thalia plus Giver. A little bit of disruption, a little bit of a clock. I eat a whole cheesecake every 2 hours as that count. Yes, exactly. You totally understand the point. You eat when you're hungry, so long as you're choosing good proteins and fibers, things will technically, yeah. Okay, give me the vial. So we vial here. Do I care about this X drinker? Like if my opponent spent, there's no way they're gonna spend their turn 2 just leveling this up, right? That's just not a thing. I guess if they do that, I do not play the vial. I do not play the Thalia, and I just path on upkeep. Because we of course, as we saw in the previous one, we can just answer it with Flicker Wisp, but you know, we don't actually have a Flicker Wisp just yet, so. Right. No decay. Oh, Inquisition. Okay. This is not bad, but it's not great either. It's not great, but it's not bad either. Wait, what? Why would you not attack there? Literally cannot punish you. This isn't... I think I'm just gonna jump Thalia here. It means that I'm gonna have to deal with this guy eventually, but hopefully we're able to raise them back quicker. Like if they spend their entire turn to make this a 4/4, they can kind of lock it out, but yeah. So they're probably gonna level this up to 4 here. Because they can't do anything else, so. Oh. Yeah. So now we can't... Shit. We might just lose to this thing. I'm just gonna field them. I field them right now. So they can't use their mana. I'm just gonna lose to this Hex Drinker now, huh? Because I didn't kill it when I had the chance. It's a 6/6. So that would be a 3-turn clock. That would be at 16. Yeah, I'm just gonna lose to this. Unless I find a Flicker Wisp exactly this turn. And my opponent misses a land drop. Because the other answer that I have is Winds of Abandon, and I can't do that. I guess I could have a Stoneforge that uses Battle Skull to raise. That would be my other option. Okay, so now they're probably gonna go all in. Or maybe not. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so that gives me a turn to draw Flicker Wisp here. I guess that it's still a 2-turn clock, so I guess my opponent's play makes a lot of sense actually. They got in there for 4, and now when they level it up next turn, it's gonna be a 2-turn clock anyway. So we have to draw exactly Flicker Wisp right now. If we find Flicker Wisp, I think that we're very likely to win. But we didn't, so now we're probably likely to lose. I'm just gonna go squatter them. Hope that they don't have more basics. Because again, I cannot beat this thing, right? I have literally no outs in my entire deck. I guess that I could have had exactly Winds of Abandon. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna get punished by that. Okay, so they did have all the basics, so our Ghost Squadron did absolutely nothing, and we're going to lose. Feels bad. That's gonna put the fear in them. My enemy does not seem like they have a good deck. Yeah, I mean, Spider Space continues to do really well with this deck. I have no idea how. Every single match it has felt so not powerful. Well, this would have been excellent. Can you imagine if we had top like this last turn? For sure there's a lot of play to this deck, but just like any kind of deck like this, and just like the deck in Legacy, right? You're doing something. Your proactive game plan is always gonna be, it feels like it's always gonna be a lot slower than your opponents. So if you ever, like, we flooded against this deck and we lost. We got against Tron, like, against Tron we didn't draw the half of our deck that actually mattered, so we lost. So you have a lot of problems like that, you know, like if you draw the wrong half of your deck, or you like draw too many lands, you lose, and your cards cannot make up for it, right? With a deck like Amulet, you don't need to draw that many threats, because the one that you resolve just wins the game by itself. I think I'm gonna go with Sword here. So you don't really need that many threats if you're playing Amulet. But if you're playing something like this deck, you need to make sure that every single card that you're playing counts. And if you stumble even a little bit, that's it. Like, you just lost. Just gonna spend this turn, put the sword in play. Could be playing against... How much have I played with this deck? 1 league. But this is... I mean, I have seen the deck played by other people, right? I have seen other people play this deck, and it's always the same issue, right? Like, it's kind of by design how this works. So they could have double path here. You're not managing the resources well, which is costing you a lot of games. That is true. That is also true. But what is? I think Stoneforge is better. That is definitely true. I agree with that. I am definitely, my lack of experience with the deck is probably costing me some games or some matches here and there. No arguments there. But the point still stands, right? My point is still true, which is if you draw the wrong half of your deck, you will lose the game. So like it's true, and you see, like now we basically skipped the draw step. And that draw step was very likely going to be important for us winning the game. So we might just lose because of it. Okay, at this point we got 2 sword activations. I think things are looking okay for us. Let's play this thing. Counter draw. You got it. Nice opponent just seems to be playing blue-white. Counterbalance. You got it. Yeah, that's not gonna do what you want it to do, opponent. Of course, like they gain control of the germ, but you still control the Battle Skull. So what just happens. Also, that does give us a lot of information. Like we need to play around Terminus. Like we know that now. Wow, that's insane. I mean, we could have tried to kill them, right? Yeah, I guess we would have killed them. Whoops. Oh, you Stoneforging them all. That's true. All right. Yep. Now that's a punt. That's a punt. Okay, so we're playing against my opponent on blue-white Miracles. These are the cards that I'm interested in. Maybe Rest in Peace, but I definitely don't want too many of those. I think the 4 paths are an easy cut. I don't think that my opponent has a mentor cyborg plan. They could have, but I really doubt it. Rest in Peace is only kind of good because it stops the Mystic Sanctuary thing, which is kind of important against us specifically because of how good Terminus is. We don't really have any other way of deal with that. White doesn't have a singular blowout cards that record sequence of correct and decent cards as opposed to a single draw, lower probability and therefore more unforgiven if you aren't playing everything perfectly. Well, assemble that lineup, it might be the list. Yeah, for sure. But that is kind of what you're doing. Like, because you're playing underpowered cards as opposed to Udo, Omnath, etc. Like, those cards are a lot more forgiving because even if you punt, like, those cards are so egregiously powerful that you just don't care. A card like Guardian Arbiter, you're paying 2 mana for a 2/2, right? If your opponent is not playing a fetch land deck, if your opponent is not playing a deck that uses a lot of shuffle effects, or if you don't draw one of your 6 cards that are that destroy lands, you're just paying 2 mana for a 2/2. Like, this is what you're doing while your opponent is paying 4 mana to draw a card, and a card that like gives them extra mana and extra life whenever they want. So like, this is like the best example of like this deck's proposition, basically. Is this the Metcalf list? No, I copied it from Parrot. I guess we keep this. And I think that we go for... Well, like, every time this happens, I just feel like I lost a draw step. Which, again, goes to, like, those decks don't have bad draw steps, right? Like, once you have your stuff going, like, lands are Field of the Dead tokens. And it's a little bit of what happens with Amulet as well. It's like, lands are great because they're Field of the Dead tokens. And if you draw a Titan when you need it, that's also awesome. Like, even if you have a land of, if you have 6 lands in play and you just Titan them, like, that Titan makes up for so much card advantage. You don't have those kind of engines with this deck. So if you don't draw well, you just don't win. Definitely gonna get the sword here. And I'm gonna play this Arbiter and they might get us with a Terminus. Even a path. Yeah. I mean, this is what you're looking for, right? You're just looking for your opponent to, like... This is how you steal wins with this deck. Not the most exciting way to end this league, but yeah. We're definitely going to fire it up again, because I do think that this deck is interesting, and I do think that it's fun. Particularly when you're playing one of the close games that this deck can provide, but when you play one of those get flooded and die kind of games, it's not so fun, obviously, but I still think this deck is cool. So we're gonna be playing another league. So yeah, thank you so much for checking it out. I will see you in the next one, and I will play some more Texas. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later. Bye bye.